Man of Steel was directed by Zack Snyder, written by David S. Goyer, and it stars Henry Cavill as Superman, Amy Adams, Lawrence Fishburne, Kevin Costner, Diane Lane, Michael Shannon, and Russell Crowe, among others. This, of course, is the origin story of Superman. I watched this movie again today to prepare for this review, and it is so much more than that. To a lot of you guys who follow me on my channel, and are personal friends of mine, or have followed me for a long time, you know my thoughts on Man of Steel clearly. And I want to go into a little bit of a story first. For those of you who don't know, when I first watched this film, I watched this with two great friends of mine. And I really liked this film. That's it. I really enjoyed this film. I thought some of the directorial choices and the script choices were very intriguing, let's say. And I have come back to this film over and over and over and over again to try and see what was missing for me, to try and analyze it, to try and study it very, very thoroughly. This movie, my friends, is a masterpiece. To me, this is without a shadow of a doubt the best Superman tale ever put to screen, the best Superman ever put to screen. This is a coming-of-age story and a character study, so well thought, so well put together. This is a film that touches me so much. I cried several times again watching this film today to give you this review. But let's start in the very beginning with a whole section on Krypton, which looks amazing, and we get the backstory to how Krypton blew up. We get a little bit into Jor-El and Zod.
I have held that hope in my hand.
This council has been disbanded.
On whose authority?
Mine.
And each time I watch this film, these two actors, Michael Shannon and Russell Crowe, they give so much to this film, they move me so much, I see so much more in them each time I watch this, and the casting choice is pitch perfect. Just the first striking conversation they have when they cross paths, when Zod enters the scene. The words they speak, the looks they give. You can see so much to the history between these two characters. You can see so much pain in very different ways in both their eyes. Russell Crowe and Michael Shannon, two magnificent actors, two master quality performers, and they give so much in the little time they have together on screen. And Michael Shannon as Zod plays such a fantastic role. This is a man who we from the comics know to be a tyrannical son of a bitch, but here he's a driven man because he wants to save his planet. He wants to save his race. He doesn't have the means to do it, and he is not doing it in the right way. But the best villains are the ones who think they are right, and Zod has a firm belief that he is doing the right thing for the right reasons. He sees himself as a hero that wants to save his people, and that's how much well written this character is. That's how great of a performer Michael Shannon is. And even in that final confrontation where Krypton is about to explode, when Jor-El is about to send Kal into Earth, into out of Krypton, and Zod comes in and they have this confrontation, which by the way is a fantastic fight scene, and if Russell Crowe had a stunt double, that was very well disguised, and if you didn't, congrats to Russell Crowe for being able to pull that off at that age. Even when Zod puts his sword through Jor-El, you can see so much pain, so much regret, so much I don't want to do this on this man's eyes. But yet, he is a driven man. He is a man with firm beliefs, and you can see that. You can see that starting to become crazy in Zod when he confronts Lara about Kal-El, that he will find him, and Michael Shannon delivers this perfectly.
You believe your son is safe? I will find him. I will find him!
So now we find ourselves on Earth with Superman, with Clark Kent, and he is on a fishing boat. We don't see his childhood until a little bit later in flashback bits. And when I first saw this film, that didn't work for me. That didn't work all the way through. And then I watched this movie again and again and again, as I told you, and I watched it again today. This is so well done. How we find Kal-El in this film. He's a man out of place. He doesn't know what he is doing. He's trying to find his place on this world. He's trying to find himself, who he is, who he must be, who his father died for, who is he, what is he supposed to be, and what is he doing here, what is his purpose. That's how we feel watching this film. Why are we watching Kal-El on a fishing boat? Why are we watching him saving random people? Sure, we know that is what Superman does, but we can see that when he fights Zod by the end. But why are we seeing this? Because he doesn't know who he is, and neither do we. We are watching the origins of Superman. We can't take for granted that everyone who went to see this movie knows of Superman, of his origin story, how he works, what his mentality is like. This is a psychological analysis on this character, and it is so well put to screen. The first half of this movie with the flashbacks has me crying throughout. The flashbacks in this film are so impactful, they are so emotional, so moving. When Superman saved those people from the rig, that is the first flashback we get, when he first started to realize his powers, and he was just a kid. And this kid, I had never noticed this before until today's watch, this kid is fantastic. This kid is a great actor. He's just so afraid, he doesn't know what to do, he doesn't know what to feel, he doesn't know what is going on, what is happening. And with this scene, when Martha, yes, I said the name, when Martha Kent goes to him and tries to help him, my god, how you don't cry with that scene, I don't know. The relationship they have, the bond they share is just so well put right on this scene. My god, eyeball over and over. And the score from Hans Zimmer is moving till the day. I still get chills listening to this score.
Don't let me in. The world's too big, Mom.
Then make it small. Focus on my voice. Pretend it's an island out in the ocean. Can you see it?
I see it.
Then swim towards it, honey.
When we have that conversation after Clark saves the kids in the bus, and we have Jonathan Kent saying you're not from here and showing him the spaceship that he came into Earth with. This is one of those films that shows that Kevin Costner is a fucking brilliant actor.
You're the answer to are we alone in the universe?
I don't want to be.
And I don't blame you, son. But you're not just anyone, Clark, and I have to believe that you were sent here for a reason.
Can I just keep pretending I'm your son?
You are my son.
That is oh so much important for Superman in this film. Let's talk about one of the biggest gripes that people have with this film, and that is the death of Jonathan Kent, dying in a tornado. This works perfectly in this story. If they ever do another Superman, it might not work as well. I like in the comics how Jonathan Kent dies of cancer. I like it. I have no problems with that, but in this film, Jonathan Kent needed to stop Superman from saving him. In this film, it shouldn't be something that we know that Superman isn't able to prevent, and that is cancer. This isn't a full-fledged Superman. That is the thing that most people I talk to don't get about this film. He isn't Superman yet. He is the Man of Steel. Sure, he is the Man of Steel. What does that give you? That gives you invulnerability to most people on Earth, if not all people on Earth. But that is the thing. He is not Superman, and we'll talk more about that aspect when we come to the end and about the battle in Metropolis. They have that argument over he isn't his father, and then Clark starts to apologize, and Jonathan Kent prevents him from saving him. This is not the time, Clark. This mustn't be the moment where you reveal yourself to the people. Because Jonathan Kent understood that people are afraid of what they do not comprehend. He spent his whole life afraid for his son, is the bond that these two share. And I haven't talked about it yet, but Henry Cavill in this film is magnificent. He does such a great job at portraying this version of Superman. He does such fantastic work acting-wise. He is uber subdued when it comes to his acting in this film. Many people don't have complaints about Henry Cavill's acting in this film, but they also don't know why. He is holding so much back. Both Superman and him as an actor, they are holding so much back from the screen. Constantly, throughout this film, Superman is hesitant until the last shot. Let's talk about the moment when Superman comes face to face with his father Jor-El for the first time after he goes into the Kryptonian ship.
Who are you? I am your father, Cal.
This is a moment that again moves me so much with the relationship between father and son. And right here, we have an exposition scene, but we have a well done exposition scene with something visually interesting going on. Because right away from the get-go of the movie, what I was fascinated by, also into the production design, was those monitors that really formed who you were talking to or what you wanted to see. And I was fascinated by this. I love the visuals and I love the production design of this film, from the costumes to the sets themselves to just everything. The cinematography is excellent also in this film. And one of my favorite moments, not only in this film, but also in comic book films, or maybe in films in general, with a score again that is phenomenal by Hans Zimmer, when Superman puts on the suit and takes flight for the first time. Damn it, if you don't see how human he is. He is hesitant and afraid, but he is exhilarated and super enthusiastic when he does take flight and goes around the world. Who wouldn't be? If you find out you could fly, you would be just grinning like he is and super excited.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall, but in time, they will join you in the sun, Cal. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders.
One of the best moments in this film is Zod's entrance into the screen. When he comes into the screens of every TV on the planet and he starts saying you are not alone in every single language that we can see on screen, that is so friggin' scary how he demands Superman to go to him, because he is the general. He is the general of Krypton. He is there to demand his citizen to be delivered to him. Zod is a man driven by his people and what he believes is right for his people. Twisted as it may be, Zod is a great natural-born leader. And Zod wants Superman because he has the Codex. What Zod doesn't know is that Superman is the Codex. Superman is what made Krypton Krypton. Superman is the first natural-born baby in ages on Krypton. And I love that they did that in this film. Because it's not that I had a problem with it in the comics, but if they don't do this to make Superman even stand out from other Kryptonians, what would make me think that Zod, as a veteran of war, and even him being a better learner than Superman, even him being trained in fighting skills, what would make me believe that Superman could beat Zod? Because Zod also gets the radiation from the sun. He also gets the laser vision. He also gets the cold breath. He also gets the super strength, the flying. What would make me believe that Superman, a man who hasn't learned anything by training and just learned from himself, he just learned by going with it, and he has been going with it days, weeks at most, and then Zod comes in, what would make me believe that Superman could beat Zod? It would make me believe that he has everything that Krypton is inside him. And if he has everything that Krypton is inside him, that makes him stronger than Zod. That makes him stronger than any other Kryptonian. One of the scenes that gets the most hate in this film is when Superman goes to the church to visit the priest before he decides to go to Zod or not. We know that Superman is an allegory for Jesus, for God, we know it. And many people saw this as blatant, as Zack Snyder trying to convey this message to see if we got it. And we get it. Zack Snyder gets it. He knows that we get it. This is not a question of Superman being an allegory for God. This is a question of, what if God is afraid to be God? What if God doesn't want to be God? This is a question that most Superman stories, if any, don't ask. What if Superman doesn't want to be Superman? This moment is very much going deeper into what Unbreakable was about. Unbreakable is a movie about what if Superman found out he was Superman. This moment asks you, what if Superman is afraid to be Superman? What if God is afraid to be God? What if God just wants to be human and doesn't want to be adored? He doesn't feel like he is any bigger or better than us. He wants to be us. This is a beautiful moment with beautiful dialogue, a beautiful score, beautiful imagery, and it is so perfectly well done. So Zod takes him into his ship and is trying to poison him, inadvertently of course, but he tries to make that his advantage. And while this is going on, Lois is being saved by the consciousness of Jor-El that she put into the ship with the Codex flash drive, let's say. So Superman goes and rescues Lois. While this is going on, Zod goes to Earth and tries to interrogate Martha Kent into giving him the Codex. And he tries to do it in the most wrongest of ways, because what happens next? If this scene doesn't make you afraid of mama boys, I don't know what does.
Where is the Codex? You think you can threaten my mother?
Holy shit, when Superman comes in and he starts punching Zod and flying with him until God knows where. This is such a good scene. And I gotta say, I love how Zack Snyder shot these fight scenes. It seems like we are so in there with this character, and he is actually fighting someone at his own level, or almost at that, for the first time. He is anxious, he is exhilarated, he doesn't know what's going to happen, he's not sure if he's going to win, he's not sure if he's going to lose, he just wants to save everyone. The action scenes in this film are really shot in an epic manner. It really makes you feel like you're in there with the characters, you are flying with them. It makes you feel every single hit, every single punch, every single car that is thrown, every single building that is destroyed. It's almost shot in a documentary-esque style, but it really makes you feel that intensity, and you follow the characters through. You don't get lost in the geography. The film really establishes where everything is, where the characters are. From place A to place B, you can follow them when they get hit and they get thrown across the world, and it's a really unique way that you don't see very often. Despite being possible to be awesome still that way, but also a unique way to not use this fast motion, slow motion, high frame rate fashion of editing and shooting, because he originated that with the 300. He could have used that in here, but he didn't. He shot it and edited it in a very unique fashion that really works for the Man of Steel. But destruction happens. It happens every single time in the comics, it happens every single time in the movies. People just seem to grab onto this destruction that happened on Man of Steel. That is the portrayal, visually, of how powerful Superman and the other Kryptonians in this case are. So as Superman is busy helping the army fighting Feora and the other Kryptonians, Zod goes and gets the Earth engine. He gets it and it starts terraforming Earth from Metropolis and from the Pacific Ocean, I believe, maybe the Indic Ocean. And so the army goes to Metropolis, Superman goes to the ocean engine. He goes there and he fights with everything he's got. He fights with every hope that he has, clinging to everything that his father Jonathan Kent and his father Jor-El told him. And look, I am not the biggest fan of Superman the movie, but even I geeked out in that single frame where Henry Cavill's face turns into Christopher Reeve. That is such a pump-up moment. I don't know how anyone doesn't get an adrenaline shot straight to the blood with that. So Superman goes and confronts Zod in Metropolis, and this is when Zod has finally honed his skills. This is when Zod starts learning his power and starts to just see what he wants to see and focus on his fight with Clark and making him afraid and destroy everything he loves. And we start one of the greatest cinematic fights I have ever seen. Yes, shit gets destroyed just like it should, because these motherfuckers are powerful motherfuckers. We have them going through buildings, we have them tearing buildings down, throwing vehicles at each other, just staring a path of destruction that displays not only their power, but also, again, Superman's inexperience at controlling situations, at being in fights, at controlling his power when he means to unleash it. Because again, he has never fought before. This is a man using the height of his powers for the very first time. And we finally come to the elephant in the room, the thing that most people complain about when Zod and Superman are on the subway station. Superman has Zod on a sleeper hold and Zod starts throwing his laser eyes at a family. And this is the choice Superman has to make. He took everything from Zod. Zod is going to destroy everything he loves. That's his intent, and he's not going to die without doing it. And then Superman has to make a choice. Will you let this family die? Or will you kill Zod, the last Kryptonian, the last of your species? Well, this moment was kind of spoiled earlier in the film when Superman said, "Stop!
If you destroy this ship, you destroy Krypton! Krypton had its chance!
And so Superman snaps Zod's neck. And he had to. I love this choice. I love that Superman has to do something that he will forever regret. If you guys have followed me, I just said this on my Flash Season 3 review. Your hero has never suffered enough. And this is where Superman suffers yet again. He has made a choice that he didn't want to make, a choice that he didn't like that he made, a choice that he will regret forever and ever. He killed the last of his kind. And I also know that one of the biggest complaints about Superman killing Zod, especially like this, is Superman doesn't kill, blah blah blah. Not only what I said until now, but if you are really using that as a defense for Superman not killing, you need to read Superman post-Crisis. Superman was not a Boy Scout after Crisis, and this image of Lois grabbing onto him and him on his knees is just so powerful, like we talked earlier about the metaphor of God. Because throughout this film, that's a whole message. What if God didn't want to be God? What if this superpowered being didn't know how to be a superpowered being? What if this superpowered being didn't want this responsibility? What if this superpowered being just wanted to be like us? Because that's the rarity in Superman's tale. He is the metaphor of God throughout his mythology. And here we look upon him as the man who doesn't want to be a god, as a man who questions why he is a god. And not only do you have the powerful imagery of a god kneeling down and hugging a human, basically asking for forgiveness, but only after Zod's death comes the flashback to Jonathan Kent watching his son in the garden wanting to be a superhero. And this is so powerful, and it comes at precisely the right moment, because this, after the fight with Zod, after having to have killed Zod, Superman has finally learned what it is to be a hero. He has finally learned the reward of what it is to be a hero. He has finally learned for what he can use his powers. He can use his powers for good. But he has also learned the consequences and the price one might have to pay for being a hero. Man of Steel is a Superman story so well done. It is so refreshing. It is so emotionally moving and hooking. I do not get tired of this film. It gets better and better with every single watch. The production design is immaculate. The score from Hans Zimmer to this day gives me chills. It is one of the best scores I have ever heard in my entire life. It is without a doubt Zack Snyder's best film, and to me the best Superman ever put to screen, live action or animated. Man of Steel is a movie that helped me through a rough time. It is a movie that moves me, it breaks me down, and it pulls me up again. It motivates me every single day of my life that I think of it or that I hear the score. The acting is fantastic. The direction is impeccable. The score is magnificent. Man of Steel is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is definitely my top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time. Man of Steel is abso-fucking-lutely the stuff that dreams are made of. How do you feel about Man of Steel, my beautiful geekies? I know I'm in the minority, but let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on this film? Has it ever grown on you after a first watch, or has it ever decreased? Do you like it less than from the first time you watch it? Let me know in the comments below, and now we are officially done with DCEU reviews. We are caught up. As soon as I can, we'll straight up get through the MCU. I already have some of those reviews. Go to the channel, check Geek Classic or my normal playlist, and thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies. You guys are the freaking best. I love you all so much. And this week, of course, Wonder Woman comes out, but I got a review just before that one, so until then, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so we can be geeky united!